The vast emptiness of space lit up with an unusual energy signature as the Imperial scout ship dropped out of hyperspace near the edges of the Sol system. Captain Mark Reed of the Earth Defense Force watched the unknown vessel's approach on his quantum radar screen. His station, positioned on Luna Base Alpha, was the first to detect the alien presence. Unknown vessel detected at coordinates 247 Mark 89. He reported to Earth Command. Size matches nothing in our database. The response from Earth Command was immediate. Track them. All stations on alert, but no aggressive moves. The Imperial scout ship, gleaming like polished silver in the starlight, moved with precision through the asteroid belt. Its crew had never encountered a civilization quite like this one. Multiple colonized planets, advanced space stations, and a remarkable energy signature emanating from the third planet. On Earth, in the underground complex of Global Defense Headquarters, Admiral James Thompson stood before a massive holographic display. The room buzzed with activity as military personnel tracked the alien vessel's movement. "They're scanning us," reported Lieutenant Andy Williams. "Their technology, it's advanced, but not as advanced as we expected from a spacefaring civilization." Admiral Thompson nodded, his weathered face reflecting the blue glow of the holographic displays. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades. Their quantum technology, developed after the great scientific revolution of 2140, had propelled Earth far beyond what any alien civilization might expect from a young species. The Imperial ship approached Mars orbit, where humanity's largest off-world colony housed 5 million people. The massive domed cities gleamed under the red sun, protected by energy shields that could withstand meteor strikes. Inside the Imperial vessel, Commander Dax of the Galactic Empire observed the human civilization with growing concern. "These primitives have colonized their neighboring planet," he asked his science officer. "Yes, Commander. And their moon. Our scans indicate technology levels we didn't anticipate. They possess energy signatures we've never encountered before." Commander Dax straightened his metallic uniform. In 10,000 years of Imperial expansion, they had never encountered a species that had developed so far without Imperial guidance. It was troubling. The first transmission came as a surprise to both sides. Earth's quantum communications array picked up the Imperial standard greeting, a demand disguised as diplomacy. "Peoples of Sol system," the message began. Translated instantly by Earth's AI systems, "You are now in the presence of the Galactic Empire, rulers of 10,000 systems. Prepare for integration into the Imperial sphere. Resistance is unnecessary and unwelcome." In the command center, Admiral Thompson allowed himself a small smile. The Empire had no idea what they were dealing with. Humanity had not spent the last century preparing for alien contact just to bow down to the first civilization that came calling. "Send our response," he ordered. Standard Protocol 7. Protocol 7 was humanity's carefully crafted first contact message, designed to be both welcoming and warning. As the message transmitted, quantum sensors throughout the solar system came online. Cloaked ships moved into position, and dimensional gates stood ready. "Greetings, representatives of the Galactic Empire," the message read. "We, the United Earth Government, acknowledge your presence. We invite peaceful dialogue, but warn that any aggressive action will be met with appropriate force. We have observed your vessel's capabilities and find no cause for concern regarding your technological advantage. Please be advised that humanity values its independence." The Imperial ship's reaction was immediate. Their energy readings spiked, indicating either surprise or alarm. "They dare." Commander Dax sputtered, watching the human response. "No species has ever." His words were cut short as his sensors detected multiple vessels appearing from seemingly nowhere. Earth's cloaked defense fleet had partially decloaked, revealing just enough to send a message. Admiral Thompson watched the Imperial ship's reaction with satisfaction. "Sometimes," he said to his crew, "the best way to avoid a war is to show you're ready for one." The Imperial ship hung in space, its crew frantically analyzing the human vessels that had appeared around them. These ships showed energy readings that defied Imperial science, and weapons systems that made their own look primitive. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Empire faced a species that didn't fear them. As Commander Dax prepared his report to the Imperial capital, he couldn't shake the feeling that the Empire had just made a terrible mistake in their approach. The first contact had begun, and humanity was not playing by the Empire's rules. The United Earth Defense Council chamber was silent as Admiral Thompson's hologram flickered in the center of the room. 50 of humanity's top military and political leaders sat around the circular table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue light of their data screens. "The Empire has given us 12 hours to accept their terms," Admiral Thompson reported. "They're gathering a fleet just beyond Neptune's orbit. Our deep space sensors detect at least 30 vessels." General Robert Miller stood up, his decorated uniform catching the light. As head of Earth's Special Weapons Division, he had spent decades preparing for this moment. "Let me show you why we don't need to worry," he said, activating the chamber's main display. Project Evolution. The hologram changed to show Earth's hidden military capabilities. Underground bases on Earth, Mars, and Titan housed thousands of quantum-powered warships. Dimensional phase technology allowed these ships to appear and disappear at will, making traditional shields useless. "We've kept our best technology hidden," General Miller explained. "The scout ship only saw what we wanted them to see. They have no idea about the phase fleet or the quantum grid." The room's atmosphere shifted from tension to quiet confidence. President William Hayes leaned forward in his chair. "Show me our defensive capabilities." General Miller nodded, bringing up new images. "The quantum grid surrounds our entire solar system. Any ship entering our space can be disabled instantly. Our phase ships can strike from dimensional pockets the Empire can't even detect." Outside the chamber, humanity's military machine was already in motion. Deep beneath the Martian surface, rows of sleek warships powered up their quantum cores. In Earth's oceans, submarine bases activated their dimensional shields. On Titan, automated defense platforms came online. "The Empire has conquered thousands of worlds," said Defense Minister Anna Foster, reading from her screen. "But according to our analysis of their scout ships database, they've never faced a civilization with our level of technology. They prey on pre-spaceflight species or newly spacefaring civilizations." Admiral Thompson's hologram nodded. "They're bullies who've never been punched back. I suggest we show them why that was a mistake." The council chamber's doors opened, and Dr. Thomas Wright, Earth's leading xenotechnologist, hurried in. "You need to see this," he said, connecting his device to the main display. "We've cracked more of their database. The Empire's shields are based on predictable energy patterns. Our quantum weapons will cut through them like paper." President Hayes stood up, his decision made. "Send the warning. Show them enough to make them reconsider, but keep our true capabilities hidden. If they're smart, they'll back down. If not..." He let the sentence hang. The warning message was crafted carefully. Earth's most powerful quantum transmitter activated, sending the message directly to the gathering Imperial fleet. The message began with a demonstration. A small, unmanned Earth vessel phased into existence next to the Imperial fleet. Before their sensors could lock on, it fired a single quantum torpedo at an abandoned space station near Pluto. The station didn't explode. It simply ceased to exist, converted entirely to energy. Then the message played. "Imperial fleet, you have entered the territory of a civilization far more advanced than you realize. The demonstration you just witnessed was performed by one of our smallest vessels. We possess thousands of ships with similar capabilities. This is your only warning. Withdraw your fleet, or we will be forced to defend ourselves. You have 1 hour to begin retreat." In the Imperial flagship, High Commander Vax watched the human demonstration with growing horror. His science officers frantically analyzed the weapon's energy signature, but the readings made no sense. Nothing in Imperial science could explain what they had just witnessed. "Impossible," he whispered. Their technology. It's beyond anything we've encountered. Back in the council chamber, Earth's leaders watched and waited. The quantum sensors tracked every Imperial ship, while phase fleet vessels moved silently into attack positions, still hidden in dimensional pockets. "They'll either retreat," said General Miller, "or make the biggest mistake in their empire's history." President Hayes looked at the tactical display showing Earth's hidden forces. Either way, the galaxy is about to learn something important about humanity. "And what's that?" asked Defense Minister Foster. "That we don't start fights," Hayes replied, "but we sure know how to finish them." The next hour would determine whether the galaxy would witness peace or learn just how dangerous humanity could be when threatened. On the Imperial capital world of Prime, the High Council gathered in their golden chamber. 12 ancient beings, each representing a sector of the Empire, sat around a crystalline table as they watched the recording from Earth for the third time. "Impossible," declared High Counselor Rex, his scaled face reflecting the holographic light. "No primitive world could possess such technology. This must be a trick." The demonstration of Earth's quantum torpedo replayed before them. The complete disappearance of the space station defied everything the Empire knew about physics and warfare. "The humans are bluffing," said Military Commander Tull, his metallic armor gleaming. "They showed us one weapon, one ship. The Empire has ruled for 10,000 years. We will not be intimidated by parlor tricks." In Earth's orbital command center, Fleet Commander Marcus Davis watched the Imperial communications through quantum interceptors. His team had cracked their encryption within hours of first contact. "They're not backing down," he reported to Earth Command. "Their reinforcement fleet is moving through what they call hyperspace. Estimated arrival, 2 hours." Deep beneath Mars colony's surface, the hidden shipyards hummed with activity. 500 phase ships sat ready, their quantum cores pulsing with enough energy to tear holes in reality. The Empire's scanners couldn't detect them through the dimensional shields. "Let them come," General Miller's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "Sometimes arrogance needs a hard lesson." The Imperial fleet emerged from hyperspace near Jupiter. 100 massive warships, each carrying enough firepower to level a continent. Their golden hulls reflected the distant sunlight as they moved into attack formation. High Commander Vax stood on his flagship's bridge, watching the tactical display. "Launch the first attack wave. Target their Mars colony. Show these upstart humans the price of defiance." 20 Imperial warships broke formation, accelerating toward the Red Planet. Their weapon systems powered up, preparing to deliver devastating energy blasts that had destroyed countless civilizations before. They never got the chance. The quantum sensors picked up the attack force's approach. Deep in Mars Command, Colonel Lisa Parker gave the order. "Activate Defense Grid Section 7." Invisible energy fields snapped into place. The Imperial ships suddenly found themselves unable to maneuver, caught in quantum stasis fields they couldn't detect or understand. "What's happening?" High Commander Vax demanded, watching his ships freeze in space. "What are these readings?" The humans had positioned quantum field generators throughout the solar system, disguised as debris or hidden in dimensional pockets. The technology was so far beyond Imperial science that their sensors couldn't even properly detect it. "Sir," an Imperial officer called out, panic in his voice. "We're detecting energy signatures everywhere. They're appearing from nowhere." The phase fleet emerged from their dimensional hideouts, surrounding the Imperial attack force. Earth's ships were smaller but sleeker, their black hulls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Colonel Parker's voice transmitted across all frequencies, allowing the entire Imperial fleet to hear, "You were warned. This is only the beginning of what we can do. We've held back until now. Retreat or witness humanity's full military capability." In the Imperial capital, the High Council watched in disbelief as their attack force hung helpless in space, surrounded by ships that seemed to defy the laws of physics. "Impossible," High Counselor Rex whispered again, but this time with fear rather than dismissal. Military Commander Tull's facade of confidence cracked. What manner of species have we encountered? The answer came in the form of a demonstration. A single-phase ship approached one of the immobilized Imperial vessels. A brief pulse of quantum energy, and the Imperial ship simply vanished, converted to harmless radiation. All Imperial forces, Colonel Parker transmitted. You have 10 minutes to begin retreat, or we will be forced to demonstrate our capabilities on your entire fleet. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Make your choice. High Commander Vax stared at the empty space where his warship had been. 10,000 years of Imperial history had taught them they were invincible. In less than a day, humanity had shattered that belief. The Empire faced a choice: swallow its pride and retreat, or learn why humanity had warned them to run in the first place. The next 10 minutes would change the galaxy forever. The Imperial fleet hung motionless in space, their golden ships reflecting Jupiter's distant light. High Commander Vax had ignored humanity's 10-minute warning. Now the Empire would learn why that was a mistake. All Phase Fleet units, execute Battle Plan Delta. Admiral Thompson's voice echoed through quantum channels. Show them what humanity can really do. The black ships of Earth's fleet moved with impossible precision. Their quantum drives allowed them to appear and disappear at will, making traditional combat tactics useless. The Empire's targeting systems couldn't lock onto vessels that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Impossible. High Commander Vax shouted as his flagship's sensors went dark. How are they blocking all our systems at once? The answer came in the form of humanity's quantum grid. Invisible energy fields spread across space like a spider's web, disrupting Imperial technology at its most basic level. Ships lost power, weapons failed, and communication systems went silent. Colonel Parker watched from Mars Command as the battle unfolded. They still don't understand, she said to her staff. They think this is some kind of magic. It's just science they're too arrogant to comprehend. The first real strike came from Earth's smallest ships. Quantum torpedoes streaked through space, passing straight through Imperial shields as if they didn't exist. Where they struck, Imperial ships simply vanished, converted to harmless energy. By the Ancient Ones, an Imperial officer whispered, watching another battleship disappear. What are these demons? The humans were not demons. They were scientists and soldiers who had spent a century preparing for this moment. Every weapon, every tactic had been developed with a single purpose: to protect Earth from any threat, no matter how powerful. High Commander Vax tried to rally his forces, launch all fighters, concentrate fire on their largest vessels. Imperial fighters poured from their carrier ships, thousands of small craft filling space with energy weapons. Their shots passed harmlessly through Earth's phase ships, which shifted partially out of normal spacetime. They're persistent, Admiral Thompson noted. Time for the main event. Launch the dimensional disruptors. From Earth's hidden lunar base, massive cannons emerged from the crater shadows. They fired not projectiles or energy beams, but waves of distorted spacetime itself. The waves rippled through the battlefield, and Imperial ships began to twist and fold like paper in a storm. What's happening to my ship? Vax demanded as his flagship's hull began to bend in impossible ways. They're manipulating space itself, his science officer replied, terror in his voice. Our technology. It's like bringing swords to fight against stars. In the Imperial capital, the High Council watched in horror as their mighty fleet was torn apart by forces they couldn't understand. A civilization they had dismissed as primitive was demonstrating power that made their greatest weapons look like children's toys. Order them to retreat, High Counselor Rex commanded, his earlier arrogance gone. Recall all forces immediately. But for many Imperial ships, the order came too late. The dimensional disruptors had trapped them in pockets of warped spacetime. Some ships were stretched into impossibly long shapes, others compressed into tiny points of light, and some simply ceased to exist in normal space. Admiral Thompson watched the battles end from his command chair. "Cease fire," he ordered. "Let the survivors retreat. They need to report what they've seen here today. The remaining Imperial ships fled in panic, their once perfect formation forgotten. As they vanished into hyperspace, they carried with them a message that would shake the Empire to its core. Humanity was not to be trifled with. In Mars Command, Colonel Parker reviewed the battle data. 97 Imperial ships neutralized, she reported. No human casualties. No damage to our fleet. The victory was total, but Admiral Thompson felt no joy. We didn't want this fight, he said quietly. We warned them. Now the galaxy will know why we told them to run. As the quantum sensors tracked the fleeing Imperial ships, Earth's leaders knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would return, either with a larger fleet or with diplomats. Either way, the balance of power in the galaxy had shifted. Humanity had revealed just a fraction of its true capabilities, and that fraction had been enough to rout the most powerful empire in known space. The message was clear: run from Earth or face the consequences. Panic spread through the Imperial capital like wildfire. The surviving ships limped back to their homeworld, their once pristine golden hulls now twisted and scarred by forces they couldn't comprehend. The Empire's invincible image had been shattered in a single battle. The humans, they're not what we thought. High Commander Vax reported to the Council, his voice trembling. Their technology, it's beyond anything we've ever encountered. They don't just break our shields, they break reality itself. Deep in Earth's Quantum Command Center, Fleet Commander Marcus Davis watched the Empire's reaction through infiltrated communication channels. They're mobilizing their entire fleet, he reported. 10,000 ships gathering from across their territory. Admiral Thompson stood before the tactical display, studying the Empire's movements. They still think quantity can overcome quality. Prepare the phase gates. It's time to take the fight to them. The phase gates were humanity's greatest technological achievement. Massive rings of quantum energy that could tear holes in spacetime. While the Empire needed days to cross the galaxy, Earth's forces could step through these gates and appear anywhere instantly. First phase gate activated, announced Dr. Wright from his station. Dimensional coordinates locked on the Imperial shipyards at their colony world nexus. Earth's attack was precisely calculated. 500 phase ships emerged simultaneously at key points throughout Imperial space. Their black hulls seemed to absorb starlight as they appeared above military installations, shipyards, and command centers. On the Imperial world of Nexus, panic erupted as human ships materialized through shimmering portals. The Imperial Defense Fleet rushed to respond, their golden ships rising from the surface like angry wasps. Their shields are useless, Colonel Parker reported from her command ship. Their weapons can't track us. This isn't even a fight. It's a demonstration. Quantum torpedoes streaked through space, passing through Imperial defenses like they weren't there. Shipyards that had stood for thousands of years vanished in flashes of light, converted to harmless energy. The Empire's mighty warships twisted and folded as dimensional disruptors warped space around them. In the Imperial Palace, High Counselor Rex watched in horror as reports flooded in from across their territory. How are they attacking everywhere at once? This defies all known laws of physics. Military Commander Toll, his earlier bravado gone, slumped in his chair. We've awakened something we don't understand. Their science. It makes our greatest achievements look primitive. Human ships appeared and disappeared at will, striking critical targets across Imperial space. Their quantum weapons ignored shields and armor, while their phase technology made them virtually untouchable. It wasn't a battle. It was a systematic dismantling of the Empire's military might. "Sir," an Imperial officer reported, terror in his voice, "we're detecting energy signatures matching the human ships near our capital world's defense grid." The Empire's capital fell silent as black ships emerged from shimmering portals above their most heavily defended world. The mighty Imperial fleet, gathered to crush Earth, could only watch as human vessels danced through their formation, untouchable and unstoppable. Admiral Thompson's voice transmitted across all Imperial frequencies. "You came to our home, and demanded our surrender. We warned you to run. Now you understand why. Your shields cannot stop us. Your weapons cannot harm us. Your Empire's technology is 1,000 years behind ours. In Earth's command center, President Hayes watched the tactical display showing human forces striking across Imperial space. Sometimes, he said quietly, the only way to prevent a long war is to show your full strength at the start. The Empire's mighty fleet, 10,000 ships strong, hung motionless as human vessels demonstrated their complete superiority. Every shot they fired passed harmlessly through Earth's phase ships. Every defense they mounted was bypassed by quantum technology. The balance of power hadn't just shifted, it had been completely upended. The Empire, which had ruled through fear and superior technology for 10,000 years, found itself helpless before a species they had dismissed as primitive. As their mighty warships twisted and vanished under human attacks, one truth became clear to every Imperial citizen. The galaxy had a new power to fear, and it came from a small blue planet they had gravely underestimated. The Empire had never known defeat before. Now, they were learning about it in the hardest possible way. In the grand throne room of the Imperial Palace, the High Council gathered in emergency session. The massive holographic displays showed the devastating results of their conflict with Earth. Half their fleet destroyed, major shipyards reduced to atoms, and defense stations twisted into impossible shapes by human weapons. "We must sue for peace," High Counselor Rex declared, his proud voice now trembling. "Every moment we resist, we lose more ships, more stations, more worlds." The Empire's mighty capital ships, once symbols of unstoppable power, now flood from the mere sight of Earth's black vessels. Through quantum communication intercepts, Fleet Commander Marcus Davis listened to their panicked transmissions. "Another phase gate opening," reported Lieutenant Walker from Earth's command center. "Target: Imperial Core World Primax." The phase ships emerged above Primax, their presence causing immediate panic among the Imperial forces. This time, they didn't attack. They simply waited, hanging in space like dark stars, demonstrating that they could strike anywhere, anytime. "Send the message," Admiral Thompson ordered. The transmission reached every Imperial world simultaneously. "Your Empire stands on the brink. We did not want this war. You forced it upon us. You have one standard day to begin full military withdrawal from all contested systems. After that, we will not show restraint." In the Imperial Palace, Military Commander Tull watched his empire crumbling. "How did we not know?" he whispered. "How did we miss their power?" The answer was simple. The Empire's arrogance had blinded them. They had never imagined that a single system could develop technology so far beyond their understanding. Deep in Earth's quantum command, Dr. Wright monitored the dimensional sensors. "They're moving," he reported. "Imperial ships are starting mass retreats from frontier worlds." On 1,000 worlds, Imperial citizens watched their mighty warships flee. The golden vessels that had once brought fear now ran from Earth's forces like prey from predators. The Empire's myth of invincibility had been shattered. Quantum scans detect Imperial diplomats approaching through authorized channels, Colonel Parker reported from her command ship. "They're carrying surrender protocols." The Empire's retreat was a sight unprecedented in galactic history. Massive fleets abandoned their conquered territories, racing back to their core worlds. Every hour brought news of another system freed from Imperial control. President Hayes watched from Earth's command center as the galaxy's balance of power shifted. "They ruled through fear and superior technology," he observed. "Now they've met someone who made their technology look obsolete." The Imperial diplomatic vessel arrived at Earth's solar system, escorted by phase ships. Inside, the Empire's greatest diplomats prepared to negotiate with a power they have fatally underestimated. "The Empire officially recognizes Earth's sovereignty," the lead diplomat announced, his voice carrying none of their previous arrogance. "We seek immediate cessation of hostilities." Admiral Thompson stood in the negotiation chamber aboard the neutral station. Withdrawal from all contested systems is just the beginning, he stated. Earth will ensure the freedom of any world that wishes to break from imperial control. The diplomats could only nod. Their empire, which had stood unchallenged for 10,000 years, had been humbled in less than a week by a single star system. Back on Earth, humanity's leaders discussed their next steps. The Empire will try to rebuild, General Miller warned. They'll study our technology, try to catch up. Let them try, Dr. Wright replied. We showed them our first-generation quantum weapons. They haven't seen a fraction of what we can do. The next few days saw the greatest military retreat in galactic history. Imperial forces abandoned their positions across thousands of light years, their golden ships fleeing at the mere rumor of Earth vessels in the area. As the Empire withdrew, other species watched in amazement. The undefeatable had been defeated. The unstoppable had been stopped. And it had all been done by a civilization from a single star system. The message spread across the galaxy. Humanity had not just defeated the Empire. They had revolutionized warfare itself. Their quantum technology and phase ships had made traditional space combat obsolete. The Empire's retreat marked the end of an era. A new power had emerged, one that fought not with brute force, but with science so advanced it seemed like magic. The galaxy would never be the same. 6 months after the Imperial retreat, Earth's influence spread across the galaxy like ripples in a cosmic pond. The once mighty Empire had withdrawn to its core worlds, its golden fleets now serving as a cautionary tale about the dangers of underestimating humanity. In the grand meeting hall of the newly established Galactic Coalition, representatives from 100 freed worlds gathered. The massive chamber, built on a neutral world, buzzed with activity as former Imperial subjects discussed their future. Admiral Thompson stood at the podium, addressing the gathered species. Earth does not seek to replace the Empire, he declared. We seek to ensure freedom for all spacefaring civilizations. The age of conquest is over. Below the surface of Mars, Earth's shipyards worked at full capacity. New phase ships emerged from quantum forges, their black hulls designed not for war, but for protection. Earth had become the guardian of galactic peace, whether they wanted the role or not. Another request for protection from the Centauri cluster, reported Commander Davis at Earth's diplomatic center. That makes 50 systems this week seeking alliance. President Hayes studied the galactic map, watching as more systems joined the coalition. Green dots represented freed worlds, blue showed Earth's allies, and red marked the Empire's shrinking territory. The Empire's scientists are still trying to understand our quantum technology, Dr. Wright reported, reviewing intelligence data. They've made no progress. They're looking for answers in the wrong dimensions, literally. In Imperial space, the once proud civilization struggled to adapt to their new reality. Their ships now moved cautiously, always watching for the distinctive shimmer of phase gates. The sight of Earth's black vessels had become their greatest fear. Quantum sensors detect no Imperial activity beyond their core systems, Colonel Parker announced from her monitoring station. They're staying within their agreed boundaries. The freed worlds celebrated their independence in different ways. Some established democratic governments, others chose their traditional leadership without Imperial oversight. Earth enforced only one rule: no conquest of other civilizations. We've received the first graduates from the Galactic Science Academy, Dr. Wright said proudly. Scientists from 50 species learning about quantum mechanics and dimensional physics. They're eager to advance their civilizations. The Empire's previous subjects, long held back by Imperial restrictions, embraced new technologies with enthusiasm. Earth shared basic scientific knowledge freely, helping worlds rebuild and advance beyond their former masters' control. Another Imperial world requesting independence, Commander Davis reported. Their people want to join the coalition. The Empire could only watch as their influence waned. Their mighty warships, once the terror of the galaxy, now patrolled smaller and smaller territories. The sight of Earth's phase ships had become a symbol of liberation rather than fear. The galaxy is changing faster than we expected, President Hayes observed, watching reports from across space. We wanted to protect Earth. Instead, we've become protectors of the galaxy. In the coalition meeting hall, representatives from formerly hostile species now work together. The Empire's fall had opened new possibilities for cooperation and advancement. Earth's quantum technology has revolutionized everything, an alien scientist declared during a coalition conference. They showed us that the impossible was merely unexplored. The Phase Gates network expanded, connecting distant worlds in ways the Empire never could. Trade flourished as ships moved instantly between systems. The galaxy grew smaller, more connected, more united. Admiral Thompson stood on his flagship's bridge, watching Earth through the viewport. We never wanted to rule, he mused. We just wanted to be left alone. Funny how things work out. The Empire's remaining leaders finally understood their mistake. They had attacked a civilization not because it was weak, but because they were too arrogant to recognize its strength. That error had cost them their dominion over the galaxy. As the first year of the new era drew to a close, humanity found itself in an unexpected position. They had become not conquerors, but guardians, not rulers, but protectors. The species that had told the Empire to run had become the species others ran to for help. The galaxy had entered a new age. The Empire's golden age of conquest had given way to Earth's silver age of discovery and cooperation. Quantum technology had not just changed warfare, it had changed civilization itself. Humanity had warned the Empire to run. Now, the galaxy ran to humanity for protection, ensuring that no empire would ever threaten peace again. The new galactic order had begun, and at its heart stood a small blue planet that had dared to stand up to an empire.